What is happening? Welcome to the Plus Pitch Podcast, your morning pitching podcast from PitcherList.com. My name is Nick Pollock. Today is April 3rd, and yes, we're going to talk about baseball. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because this podcast is going to be coming out at night moving forward on the weekdays. That is on Monday through Friday mornings. You will get this in the wee early hours of the night. But I'm on move-in day today, so I apologize for one more day watching this on YouTube and listening, of course, as a podcast a little bit later. However, we got to talk about Landon and Roupp, and let's have a Roupp chat about him now. So Landon Roupp came out hot. It was gorgeous. It was striking out the side against the Astros. I literally was in a 12-team league where I was debating, do I want to stash Roupp after this start or not? And I knew to myself, like, Roupp is going to have a good game. Everyone else is going to want him. I'm not going to be able to get him. So after that 3 strikeout inning, I just went and got him. And the end result was 4 innings, 300 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks, and 8 Ks. So after that first inning, it's 3 innings of 300 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks, and 5 Ks, right? Not exactly what you want to see. I love what he is doing, and I feel as if this was treated a little bit like a debut in a way. Roupp is holding on to that rotation spot. Birdsong is dealing with the blister, or not the blister, I'm sorry, the fingernail. They have him in the pen. We can see the potential here. It's very sinker sweeper, Tanner Houck-esque in the big extreme of the breaking ball and the sinker from the right side. But what I think is different about Roupp is that he does have a good changeup against lefties. He does have a cutter that he can throw against lefties too. He faced the Astros, who are super right-handed focused. And that's why you saw all these curveballs and these sinkers. These curveballs really are sweepers, and they're fantastic. 11 over 34 whiffs on it. Massive horizontal break. And the sinker, I think, is a very good pitch inside 20 inches almost of horizontal run. We're talking like 3 feet difference between where the sweeper ends up and where the sinker ends up. It's really fun. I think the command is going to get better as he gets more opportunities with this. I do not see him as a 4-walk guy. I see him as someone who's going to consistently get whiffs. The question to me is if he's going to adapt and add the cutter and the changeup effectively moving forward. I love the situation with San Francisco. San Francisco is a good defense. It's a good home park. And it's just generally a solid team to pitch on right now where they will let their pitchers go deeper. 83 pitches here. I like this for Roupp. I think you should be adding him in all 12-teamers. And I would love to go with him for his next start against the Reds. I don't think this 4-walk performance is what we'll get moving forward. Garrett Crochet is dope and makes us feel dope. So is Paul Skene and Zach Wheeler. Oh, such fun stuff there. You don't need me. Zach Gallen had an incredible start. 6.2 innings of 0 runs, 3 hits, 0 walks, 13 strikeouts against the Yankees. There was a very interesting image, I think, posted inside of our Discord that was saying, all right, who's going to give in here? Because the Yankees as an offense have been absolutely terrible against Gallen. And yeah, we see it once again. Zach Gallen didn't get the golden goal because, of course, Zach Wheeler had to go 25 whiffs, but 24 whiffs and 46% CSW in 101 pitches is absolutely bonkers. Gallen gals wake up. I've been so negative about Zach Gallen. I've been saying I think the decline is coming. I see the 126 whip last year. I see the fastball that constantly gets hit, and really just the death ball being so good. But the thing is, when that death ball is that good, that is the curveball, it is... I mean, it really sets the tone for us. It was a 60% CSW across 30 thrown. He's also getting extra vert now. This 4-seamer was like a 17-inch vert 4-seamer, which is already good, but there wasn't really anything else attached to it from velocity and from kind of sporadic location. But here, we got 19 inches of IVB, and this is from a lower arm angle. Like, this isn't one of those 4-seamers that is expected movement with it. Now, I don't love the command of it still. I know that sounds weird. He just threw a lot of these for strikes. The Yankees didn't know what to do because they were expecting the curveball as well. And the changeup actually did really well against lefties. It didn't have the highest strike rate, but it was spotted well. There was also some cutters in there too, and the slider. Like, they helped. But really, this was a game of just the curveball dominating, and then the Yankees were on the heels with that curve. I hope that's the case moving forward. I think this is an extreme, but... obviously, I mean, with Zach Gallen, I've said, hey, look, you draft him. If you have him on your team, you're just going to keep starting him. I was worried about this one. I really was. This is the best I've seen Zach Gallen in a long time. And even then, I'm like, all right, is that sustainable, though? I mean, 60% CSW on any pitch, let alone 30 thrown, is already just like, should tell you that this isn't sustainable. But pretty awesome. You love to see it from Zach Gallen. Jack Leiter, otherwise known as Jack Zippo, 5 innings, 0 runs, 1 hit, 0 walks, and 6 Ks. Incredible. 70 pitches. He left this game with a blister. They said it was precautionary, and that's always nice to see. He could have pitched through it. I always get terrified when I hear blisters early in season. Why? Because they can take a while to heal. And if you don't heal them properly, it's just going to be a thing that bothers throughout the entire season. So I'm a little worried about it. I'm not going to do anything. If he's starting next time, I'm going to trust the Rangers. But I'm just going to let you know that I always like, oh, okay. The thing that we liked about Leiter in this one is that last year, Jack Zippo was throwing these 4-seamers, and we thought, man, we should be getting more whiffs with these. But really what was going on either was tipping, which I really hate doing that kind of analysis. Sometimes it's correct, but I feel like it's like snake oil. It's like not really giving you much. It's just saying a shrug. But maybe that was the case, or it was the fact that his secondaries didn't get strikes. He just couldn't put this thing over the plate to make guys not sit on the fastball. And what did he do here? He threw more sliders than 4-seamers. He threw them 31 times for 44% usage. And he had 7 over 31 whiffs on it. He had a high strike rate on over 70%. And meanwhile, the 4-seamers pulled back to just 21%. That's like half usage more from last year. And it worked. And he also had these changeups. Now the changeup's still kind of working a little bit. We'll see. And the sinker, okay. But really, the fact that Jack Leiter is throwing sliders for strikes, we saw it on the other side too. Hunter Greene is looking as good as I've ever seen him. 100-mile-per-hour fastballs with, what do you know, tons of slider strikes. You can be a 2-pitch pitcher if you can throw both the 4-seam and the slider constantly for strikes, be in situations where you can throw more sliders than 4-seamers and have that 70% strike rate. If you can do that, we've seen that from Jared Jones, from Spencer Strider, from Hunter Greene, from Jack Leiter, and there are more. I know around here that have done this because both pitches can get whiffs and both pitches can get strikes. So you love to see it from Jack Leiter. I expect it's going to fail at one point, and at that moment, I'm really excited to see what he does. How does Jack Leiter respond once he goes through that adversity? But for now, yeah, we're holding on tight to Jack Leiter. And of course, Hunter Greene, just seriously, guys, he had another amazing outing, 8 Ks in 7 innings. It was nuts. 100-mile-per-hour fastballs with 88 on the slider is just phenomenal. It's 12 miles per hour when you have to gear up so heavily for 100. It's different from going like 90 to 78. 100 to 88 means you just can't, there's more force you need to gear up for 100, which means then it's harder to pull back at 88. It's 12 for 27 whiffs on the slider, like duh. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we have Easton Lucas. You might not know who he is. He's for the Jays. He stepped in for Max Scherzer because they didn't really want to go with Jake Bloss quite yet, which makes sense. I think we'll probably see Bloss in May. I'm surprised it actually wasn't Yariel Rodriguez. But he got the gold star. I'm proud of him. It's nice. He doesn't really have anything that makes me excited. I don't know. I can't really tell you why he got 9 over 41 whiffs on his 4-seamer. Sure, it has 17 inches of vert. It's 93. Doesn't have good extension, does not have good attack angle. Maybe it's just better vert than expected. But man, this isn't going to be the same. Like this isn't, not. 2 whiffs on everything else, just so you guys know, of course, with Easton Lucas. He's not the next guy you need to go and get. Blake Snell is doing Blake Snell things, and it's so funny. Every single year, this is why I rank Blake Snell lower than everyone else in the preseason. Because he went 4 innings, 0 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks, and 2 Ks. And the thing is, I'm probably going to be wrong at the end, right? Because we're all going to be saying, look, you got to stay with him. We know this. He's bad for a month or 2, and then he's the greatest pitcher on the planet for 4 months, right? That is what you're saying. That if you have Blake Snell, you told yourself this, so just ignore it. If you have Blake Snell, you just ignore it, right? That's all you can do. Good luck. Good luck. He was 1.5 ticks down with just 4 whiffs on this, by the way, and only 3 for 10 strikes on the changeup. But, this is what we signed up for, right? Okay. Freddie Peralta looked as good as ever also. 8 innings of 1 run, 2 hits, 0 walks, and 8 Ks. Man, Peralta and Greene and Leiter and Gallen, these guys that I've, been like, okay, but is it actually going to be this good this year? I mean, yeah, they're killing it. We normally see Professor Chaos show up, Professor Case, if you don't know this about Peralta, it's when it's just kind of, a scatter plot. A Pollock, but not spelled incorrectly. Oh, actually, spelled incorrectly. That's with an OCK. That's wrong. But this is not that for Freddie Peralta. A 1.7 height-adjusted VAA is an amazing flat attack angle. You love that. He's up a tick at 95. And he went 7 for 11 curves at his convenience. And I hope he can store it forever. I hope everyone got that pun in the roundup. But yeah, that was so good. 7 for 11 whiffs on the curveball is amazing. We did see competitive changeups, even though they weren't offered at a ton. Just having those really close to the zone helped him out too. An amazing start to the year after, I think, 2 innings or so of home runs against the Yankees, and then it was good after that for Freddie Peralta. I really hope this is just him cruising right now, because I was out on him, and I was just like, I don't want to. I see him as someone who is a cherry bomb who goes back and forth a bit, but generally doesn't start off this hot. Then again, it was like, 20 inches of vert out of the gate last year, and then it fell down. Still, this looks good, and that's cool. Pablo Lopez against the White Sox, 7 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. I'll be honest with you, I'm not insanely impressed with the command of Pablo so far. It's a lot of just, here's my fastball into the zone. Same with the changeup, honestly, to lefties. And then the sweeper sometimes is away, but it's not always precise. Like, there's a lot of times he just kind of misses too much in the middle. But it's the White Sox, so that's cool. That's why it's only 5 Ks, though. They swung at those, and they didn't get hits. So that's good. 4 hits over 7. I love to see that from Pablo, too. His biggest thing is being too hittable, like an 8+ hit per 9. So if you want any game that you see under a hit per 9, I'm like, okay, cool, that's generally good. That's 9, of course, but you understand what I'm saying. We got to talk about some other guys here. Clay Holmes and Cole Reagans and Dylan Cease, but so many others. Ryan Pepe, what are we doing there? Kikuchi, Gore? Oh, no. Okay, we're going to talk about all of that after this break. Dylan Cease, 6.1 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. Pretty interesting because the changeup is floated in bad against lefties. What? Oh, my gosh. And he actually faced a ton of lefties. So props to him for having his best slider command I've seen in a long time against lefties, down and away for called strikes and underneath for whiffs. He also added vert on his four-seamer now, 19 to 20 inches. Oh, you love to see that. It's not 17 to 18 now. 53% strikes, but actually one of the things that Cease did to improve himself against lefties is to not give in as much. So to be a little effectively wild with that and not let guys just sit heater and they're not going to get the pitch that they want. Sometimes it's actually good to throw fewer strikes. I know. Trust me. I know. But I think this was one of those cases a little bit for Dylan Cease. And yeah, this really was against mostly lefties. So good job there, Dylan. Connor Gillespie, once again, had a good outing. 5 innings of 1 run, 4 hits, 0 walks, and 6 Ks. But look, this is the thing. He's a cutter sweeper guy against righties. And then he has changeups all over the place against the lefties. Like, and it worked. Four-seamers are kind of surprising for called strikes, too. He's very strange to me. It's possible that all the different movement bands, like it's very good globs of it, not like spread out, is what's going on here. But you got to understand, all balls that we're here to play, the cutter, the sweeper, and the changeup, we have this amazing 3D Wobacon, which is just better X-Wobacon. I keep calling it X-Wobacon because no one knows what 3D Wobacon is, but it's really just saying that it is understanding spray angle too, and not just doing X-Wobacon on the 2D scale. For those that are really curious about it, it's inside of our PL Pro app, by the way, that we do for live pitches. And if you don't have PL Pro yet and you really want this data, trust me, you do. Then you got to go and get PL Pro, get yearly for 15% off with promo code podcast, all in caps. And the 3D X-Wobacon, really the 3D Wobacon for Connor Gillespie's pitches was 395 or higher. Really, it was like 397 and then well over 400 for the others. So he shouldn't have allowed 4 hits, is what I'm trying to say. He got pretty fortunate against the Mets here. I'm not thinking that Connor Gillespie is the next big guy for you to go and get. Cole Reagans, 20 whiffs, 36% CSW, 97 pitches, 10 strikeouts. The thing about it is that it was still a 1.4 whip, 5 hits, 2 walks in 5 innings. He wasn't efficient. Even the last at-bat against Churiel was really, oh my gosh, I was laboring. Actually, on the stream, I was doing all this other stuff, but I needed to watch this one at-bat. And it took forever, but we finally got him to ground out. It was good. I think the slider and cutter are still pretty much where we were last year. And it's not quite the pitch we want to see. Also, really weird to see the changeup Not dominating right-handers the same way. He's not getting it down and away as much. It's more just kind of over the plate. But 13 over 56 whiffs on his four-seamer is absurd. And he's at 95, 96, and that's fine. Like, you're going to see some 93 a little bit more this year than you saw at the beginning of last year. I think, honestly, Cole Reagan's at 95, 96 is fine. If that means that you are healthy and you have more stamina and everything, that's cool with me. Clay Holmes, 4.2 innings, 1 earned run, 6 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. 6 whiffs in there, too. Yeah, he's turning into a hipster. The Adobe is getting that Clay home in Williamsburg. Actually, really, it's Bushwick now, just to be honest with you guys. And turning that headache-inducing pitcher, stifling the entire roster. That is what a hipster is, and it's just annoying because, like, the sinkers, yeah, sure, you got strikes, but then the secondaries didn't get strikes. And it's just, you don't know what you're going to get from Clay Holmes. So you're going to keep starting him, I think. But he might just be turning into that hipster who's unable to go 6+ because he's just inefficient, even though he's a sinker baller. It's kind of weird. Luis Castillo, you have against the Tigers, got the win in Seattle. 7 innings, 200 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks. I think it's very strange that his sinker was just down in the lower third of the zone and not underneath it against right-handers the entire time and didn't get punished for this. Meanwhile, his four-seamer is upstairs in the upper half against with his four-seamer to lefties, and really good separation with that in the slider and the changeup down and away as well. So I don't know. I feel that Castillo is squeezing the most of what he has right now. And 10 over 92 whiffs in the T, that is T-Mobile Park in the anti-course. What is the opposite of a cold beer? It's hot tea. Yeah, it's such a benefit to starting pitchers if you don't know that. I'm just a little like, okay, Castillo, I might sell high if I can. I think that Castillo isn't the real consistent The Rock. I don't want to butcher my accent of Spanish. So I don't think he's that he used to be in fantasy. But, like, fine, he's a low-end Holly. Jameson Taillon went against the Athletics in Sacramento. 6 innings, 200 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. I mean, look, the sweeper was generally effective to right-handers. Four-seamers were up. Backdoor cutters and changeups to right-handers. I didn't have to get the job done. Actually, really, it was left-handers, not right-handers. I apologize for that. 19 whiffs is really shocking. He got whiffs across the board, though. It wasn't like one thing that just took over. Normally, when we see that, we see like 2 pitches really become the hero ones. And I like the fact that he was a little bit more out of the zone. He wasn't 70+ strike rates with everything. 3 walks. But look, 6 innings, 7 Ks, 2 earned runs. We're okay with this. We're okay with the 117 whip, Taillon. I wonder if that's going to be an approach. I'll ask him. Well, I'll get you an answer. Ryan Pepio against the Pirates. 5 innings, 200 runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, 3 Ks. This wasn't the best version of Pepio, and I think he kind of got away with this one a little bit. 8 base runners, of course. 35% changeups is wild. But 90% strikes, I mean, he really just threw this into the zone. I was like, this is what I've got today. Because fastball and slider, 3 for 40 whiffs. Oh, gosh. So that's the volatility. The fact that Pepe was able to adapt and be able to go 2 earned runs in 5 is a big deal. The whip hurt. I mean, this wasn't the best one. And I do like to say often, like someone had mentioned this before, and I think that's right, is you have 3 buckets of starts, right? You have 30%, or let's just say 25% are your bad ones, 25% are your great ones, and 50% is where you really become a really good pitcher or a bad one. And when you're having the bad one, which is this one, to make sure that those are not so detrimental, it's not like a 6 earned run game or something, is a big deal to me. So limiting the days when that damage is there, or really it's like 25% you're on your worst, 25% you're at your best, and 50% of the time is the normal. So this was a 25% bad, and we're okay. Thank you, Ryan Pepio. Kyle Freeland had a better than very poor quality start. 6.2 innings of 300 runs, 9 hits, 0 walks, and 3 Ks. Okay. He's an extension guy. I never realized that before. It's like 6.9 extension. But no, I don't want to do this with Kyle Freeland. We have Zach Eflin against the Red Sox. Honestly, a poor quality start's fine. We'll take it. 15 whiffs, probably not. I am not going to stick around. So Zach Eflin, I'm glad you're a Toby. Very low end Holly. You're a Toby. If you're chasing wins, also, generally, it's going to be fine with Eflin, too. Yusei Kikuchi is still scaring me. 6 innings of 300 runs, sure. 4 hits, 5 walks. That's a very poor quality start. If you don't know, that's 9 base runners and 300 runs in 6 innings exactly. You have 12 whiffs, 25% CSW on 104 pitches. So at least they're pushing him because it's the Angels. But the changeup was just 2 for 8 strikes. The slider was 10 for 38 called strikes, but then they hit it when they swung and they connected well. He's down in velocity tick. He's down in vert as well. The curve was not effective. It was crushed. This is not the best version of Kikuchi, and I'm scared. I was scared last time against the White Sox. I'm scared against the Cardinals, and he's not going to get such good matchups moving forward. So if you have some of these like really exciting guys on your wire in a 12-teamer, you might want to make that swap. I'm just saying, like, you can keep rolling with this, and I'm sure Kikuchi's going to have some good stretches, and he could be great next time, and I get it completely. But he's getting into hipster territory. I mean, that's really where I put him in my rankings preseason as a hipster, and he's really proving that point. You have Tarek Skubal against the Mariners, really bad. A near very poor quality start. 5.2 innings, 300 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, and 8 Ks. What's going on? But 23 whiffs. Like, okay, fine. Baseball's weird. Baseball's weird. And everything's fine. 10 whiffs each on his 4-seamer and changeup. We are cool. Mackenzie Gore, though, oh man, I'm so sad. The slider was still very good, the new one, against lefties. It's just more about, all right, so like, are you still fine with righties? And you're not. 5 innings of 300 runs, 9 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks. He threw, I mean, really, he faced so many righties. So the question is, okay, fine. Mackenzie Gore, for you to really be that guy, you have to figure out something better against righties in this curveball. That was just such a low strike rate. And it's so annoying. Also, the heater is not like 97 as you saw last time. It's like 95 to 96. And he's just not getting stuff from changeups or cutters or curveballs that you want against right-handers. And he didn't leave it up he didn't spot it up as he wants to. Ah, man, I was really, really hoping that new slider was going to do more. And I guess, honestly, it did. It's just I overvalued how he looked against righties, I guess, in that start. I mean, I had him in the inside the top 50 because, he just had 13 Ks against the Phillies. But, I got to move him down. I'm sorry. I apologize. Apologize for the aggressive movement up of Gore. Even though it wasn't in the top 40, it was in that cliff area. But still, I regret it. Bryce Elder did poorly against the Dodgers. What else is new? Carlos Rodon, 6 innings, 400 runs. Honestly, the thing here is 7 base runners with 4 walks. The changeup was bad, and I'm really sad to see that because it was so good last time. But he has actually this 4-seamer that has more elite two-play movement than before, but he did it at 93. Rodon, we don't like it when you're at 94. We want you at 95 plus. So I don't, I'm not excited. I think this was also just one of those bad days for a guy, and hopefully the velocity is up. Also, that the changeup feel is better against right-handers. We just move on. Ben Lively didn't do well against the Padres. Sure, when he gets a good matchup, or at least when you see that he has a good run, then you can pick him up, okay? Sonny Gray was doing great for 6 innings, and then had a careful Icarus when the 7th arrived, when he allowed essentially a grand slam and got pulled. Oh boy. The sweeper is absolutely back as he's nailing down a glove side to both sides of the plate. He is also setting 92-93, not 90-91, and things are cool there, so we just keep going with Sonny Gray. Jeffrey Springs is not all sunshine and rainbows. 3 innings and 4 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks, 3 Ks. Changeup did return 76% strikes, but it wasn't like really well spotted, and the 4-seamer was a little erratic. So fine, I think he's going to be back to normal next start, and maybe Sacramento's just not a good place to pitch, guys. Mitch Spence came in after he had a 92-mile-per-hour cutter. I want to see a little bit harder from the pen, and there wasn't really much else. So hopefully we get to see Spence start again, but if he does, then it probably won't be long, and it might be just too grueling until a couple weeks into that when he eventually does. Framber Valdez, 5 innings, 500 runs, 4 hits, 4 walks, 9 Ks. He got your strikeouts at least, and the curve is generally looking pretty good. But yeah, he faced a lot of right-handers. The sinker leaked over the plate. It's going to happen. That's the life of Framber Valdez, guys. Hopefully the changeup steps up a little bit more moving forward. And Sean Burke, so disappointing, but the things that I was afraid of from his first start showed up at my door against the Twins, where the velocity at least is 95 and not like 94, but it's not 96 plus, and had a terrible strike rate. The breaking balls that had whiffs back in the fall, as Eno said, not good stuff pitches, but I was like, look, as long as he's getting that fastball upstairs, those are going to be generally whiff pitches because you were down. Yep, not getting good whiffs because the fastball wasn't good. So because of that, it's what happens. And Sean Burke is someone I'm not going to target until I see those elements really come to fruition or really just come together properly moving forward. So Sean Burke is not the guy that I want to hold on to at all. In 12-teamers and 15-teamers, I feel like you could chase it, but you probably are better off just with a Toby instead of chasing this. All right, that is it for today. Thank you all so much for your support. Make sure you're watching this live on YouTube as well. If you want just a little extra element of seeing the roundup as I talk about it, and of course my lovely face. But that is it. So my name is Nick Pollock, and may your bounce be low and your strikeouts high.